talk about your brain's secret code and why it keeps sabotaging you, and of course, how to crack it. Decoding your inner drill sergeant can be challenging, to say the very least, but there's always a way. So that's exactly what we'll be exploring today. We'll discuss why your brain sabotages you and how to reprogram it. Let's start with a few phrases many of the listeners recognize when that mental drill sergeant starts taking charge. Why can't you just be normal? You'll never be good enough, so why even try? You always screw up. Why do you make so many mistakes? Any of this sounding familiar? Is your brain stuck in self-criticism mode? Do you use this damaging self-talk? Seriously, no judgment here. We all do it sometimes. But here's what neuroscience reveals. Self-attacks, such as those, flood pain circuits in the insula while weakening rational control. This pattern becomes neurologically addictive. Your anterior cingulate cortex, ACC, treats self-criticism like a malfunctioning alarm you keep resetting. When I say your inner critic isn't protecting you, but rehearsing outdated caveman code, I'm not exaggerating. This autopilot mode developed over millennia. The dorsal anterior cingulate, the DACC, evolved to detect social exclusion threats in tribal settings. Modern self-criticism hacks this system, misinterpreting creative risk or authenticity as existential danger. As cognitive neuroscience Dr. Ellen Vasquez explains, your amygdala can't distinguish between public speaking and a saber-toothed tiger. It's time to update its firmware. The good news, while these patterns aren't your fault, you can reprogram them. Let's start with a 3-question neural audit to disarm the drill sergeant. First, you're going to ask, is this my voice? Many internal scripts come from external influences, parents, peers, culture, or past bullies. For example, if lazy echoes in your mind, dig deeper. Does it really mean unprepared or overwhelmed? The other question, when did the script download? Trace the criticism's origin. Did it start with a childhood teacher's remarks? A toxic relationship? Identifying triggers will help disrupt these patterns. But don't stress if memories are fuzzy. Focus on changing the narrative now, right now. And then you want to ask yourself, what's the subscription costing me? Just calculate the toll. Some realize that it drains mental energy, while others quantify impacts like 7 hours a week, lost to rumination. There's no wrong answer. Choose your matrix, the one that resonates with you. And remember, your brain built these pathways, which means you can rewire them. Are you ready to start remolding? There is a worksheet. It's linked in the description below for the 3-question audit that we talked about earlier. But let's go ahead and dive into self-compassion, because this is going to be your ultimate tool for transformation. It will literally transform that inner critic. Meet your uninvited mental roommate, the narrator who amplifies every mistake into catastrophe. This critic isn't just unkind, it rewires your brain, eroding self-esteem and well-being through cortisol spikes and neural pathways forged in ancient survival mode. Let's talk about how it shows up. I'll give you a personal example. While I was creating the worksheets for this very guide, my critic, let's call him Fred, because that's what I named him, he pipes up, "This won't help anyone." Does that sound familiar? Your version might whisper, "Resting equals laziness," thinks hustle culture. Or "Boundaries equals selfishness." Hello, childhood caretaker. Or maybe yours says, "One mistake equals total failure." I'll say, after my mom passed, Fred morphed into a guilt machine and said things like, "If you don't fix everything for dad, you're abandoning him." I became a human band-aid, exhausted, resentful, and drowning in shame. This is the critic's playbook, hijacking your nervous system, making you believe it in these outdated scripts. So why is it that we want to shift to self-compassion? Well, that every "you're not enough" triggers a cortisol tsunami in your amygdala, shutting down your logical prefrontal cortex. But here's the twist: self-criticism spikes procrastination by like 32%. It impairs problem solving. It weakens your immunity. So I'll just say this: self-compassion isn't coddling, it's strategic neural renovation. When Fred sneers, "this work is pointless," I counter with, "even helping one person makes it worth it." This isn't avoiding accountability, it's swapping. Why did you mess up again? For what does this struggle reveal? And how can I grow? So, let me give you your rebellion toolkit. You want to ask questions. Is this voice older than my iPhone? Because honestly, most are childhood relics. You want to ask questions like, would I say this to a grieving friend? What would my wise self do? And of course, I would highly suggest, naming your critic like Fred. This creates psychological distance, and we'll explore the superpower later. But for now, just try this. When your critic attacks, ask, is this my truth or someone else's? That time I told my dad I can't fix your loneliness, Fred howled. Selfish, horrible daughter. But here's what happened. Dad made some connections with a few new friends. So our no's often become others' growth opportunities. Your boundaries are granting permission for others to heal. So, are you ready to evict that mental bully? Go ahead and grab our Critic-to-Compassion translator, which I have linked below. And please, please remember, you can't pour from an empty cup, but you can grow a well. Now, go show Fred who's boss. And if you want to, name him Fred or something else.